Welcome back to the channel. So I know I've been gone for a while. I've been crazy busy with work, but I'm filming an E92 M3. It's been a while since I've been in that platform, so I'm very excited and I can't wait to see what's done to the car. So why don't you introduce yourself and the car, and then also give a background on why you chose the E92 M3.
My name is Wes. This is my 2011 E92 M3. I chose this car mainly because my first ever car I was thinking about getting was a Dynan E46 M3. That was back like maybe about 5 years ago, and I knew nothing about cars. So I was talking to my dad about it, and he's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't get an E46 as your first car because it's going to be a bit of a money pit, especially for one that was that heavily modified. So I ended up taking a little bit of detour. I got my Subaru BRZ, and that one's currently getting surgery on it. And, hopefully it doesn't blow up on me. But yeah, after getting exposed to BMWs for most of my life, I decided, you know, I've heard rumors about this car being like the ultimate driver's car, very tactile, a lot of feedback, and thought to myself, like, okay, you know, I've known one guy in Irvine that sold his 8.6 for this car. Actually, ironically, my dad's therapist that I hooked him up with, he actually had two of these, and one he bought for his mom. And I remember asking him about it. He goes, yeah, like my mom, she really loved it, and I remember we sold that car and got another one. She kept complaining that it didn't feel like the E92 M3. I'm like, well, no kidding. But I thought, like, okay, well, he has one. And then I had like these two Chinese girls move in my neighborhood. One of them had an E90, and then she loved to death. So I'm like, you know, everyone in my life has had one of these cars, including this guy behind the camera.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, maybe I should try it out. And yeah, I picked it up last April, and it's been a blast since.
So why don't you also talk about your journey with cars and just give us a little bit of a comparison between how all of them, you know, compare.
So I mentioned that my first car was a 2023 Subaru BRZ. Initially, I really wasn't looking for anything fun per se. I was looking for something to get me from point A to point B, because I was Ubering back and forth from my office when I started my job. But I thought to myself, like, if I get a car, maybe I can get something that's, you know, cheap and fun, so that my dad could also drive it. He drove the BRZ a couple times, and he never really hooned in it, but he was getting pretty darn close. So, yeah, initially I was actually getting into Miatas because that was, you know, when people think like cheap manual rear-wheel drive cars, like Miata's usually the first answer.
For sure.
I'll be completely fair and say that the new ND Miatas, they're getting up to like the $40,000 range, especially if you want the hardtop and like the club spec with the VVS wheels. I don't really know if I want to spend $40,000 on Miata. So, you know, I looked at the competitors, and around the time like 2022 when I was looking for cars, the BRZ came out and the 8.6, and everybody loved those cars, like everybody. So decided to pick one up, and I drove it for a little bit. I'm like, okay, this is nice, like, all right. And you know, one of the things that I really liked about that car was that the consumables were cheap. So brakes, you know, if you wanted to do upgrades, like there's a huge aftermarket for that car. Lots of good suppliers like Greddy, Willwood, Brembo, HKS, like just pretty much everybody makes parts for that car. So I'm like, okay, well, I could do like a catback. I'm like, well, maybe I could do headers for that Subaru Rumble. That's cool. And then I did pads and rotors, and then it basically just went all downhill from there.
It became a money pit eventually?
It became a money pit, so I ended up getting the BRZ, and then the M2 was passed down to me by my pops. And then I ended up getting this thing, and well, in terms of how those three cars are, I would say the M2 is probably a better daily, just in terms of the comfort. You know, it's a little bit more numb when it comes to steering feel and overall feel of the car, but that honestly is not that big of a deal to me. It feels very stable at high speeds, you know, allegedly like 130, 140 on the highway. But that's also kind of the problem, is I feel like anytime I drive that car, like I'm immediately going to get like, you know, GTA 5-star, like helicopters flying around, just because how easy it is to drive that car.
It picks up speed really fast, huh? Yeah,
it picks up speed really fast. It feels super stable, and you honestly just don't really feel like how fast you're going, which is honestly not a bad thing. It makes you I feel super confident being behind that car. just because, again, it's the way it's planted and how heavy it is, actually, in my opinion, is it plays into its strengths. As opposed to for the BRZ, it's like kind of the complete opposite. Completely slow, like, you know, I'm flooring it and I'm hitting like 75 if I try.
Yeah.
But I will say that car does handle wonderfully. Really, like, you see a lot of those cars on the track. It's mostly 8.6s, BRZs, S2Ks, and then like the one or two guys that have Civics that are straight piped. No, those cars are super fast on the track. Like, you don't really have to do anything. Like, guys are able to get sub 2s with just like pads and rotors, if even that. So I like that car just because I've spent a lot of time with it, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, you know, doing like full suspension, so coils, sway bars, end links, control arms, and then I did like a full brake conversion kit, rebuilt calipers in my house, intake, headers, exhaust, and now that poor thing is getting a new engine at 11,000 miles and straight cut gears and turbo. So I haven't driven it in a while because it's been in the shop for a couple months now. But I really do enjoy, like, I can just like floor it around a corner and it doesn't want to kick out. It definitely grips up. But for this car, like, I feel like it's kind of a mix between the BRZ and the M2, where I basically have twice the horsepower, and you can definitely feel it. But it's not nearly as heavy, and it's not nearly as muted as the M2. So when I'm flooring it and I'm hitting like 80 or 90, I know that I'm hitting 80 or 90. Especially anything over 4K revs in this car, like, you definitely start to feel it. You can hear it, you can feel it in the seat and the steering wheel. Probably because I haven't had my wheels balanced, but you can feel it in the steering wheel. And it's very tactile.
So let's do the fun part, you know, talking about everything that's done to the car. So let's do a quick walk around, and you could just tell us all the mods. So the big showstopper here is the full Eventuri kit. Funny story about this one, I bought the intake before I even had the car. You were set on this car.
Yeah, I was pretty set. That was kind of a risky move. A short story about this car, this was up in San Jose. This was posted by an older Asian dude on the Beamer Post forums. And I don't even think I had the PPI done yet, and I still bought the intake. So, you know, I jumped the gun a little bit, but it is what it is.
I mean, it worked out. Yeah,
it worked out. The car hasn't blown up. Cool bits over there. So to replace the coolant expansion tank and the power steering fluid reservoir, those ones are made out of plastic, and during track driving some people have had issues with them leaking or essentially cracking with the fluid. So definitely got rid of that and switched over to, I think these are aluminum. And then I've got the Mach Schnell underdrive pulley kit. That one I did mainly because I needed to replace the belts anyways, so I figured why not. It did make the steering a little bit heavier, and the AC doesn't blow as cold, but I think that's probably the mod that gave me the most power. And also I replaced the valve covers with NRW valve covers. If I could go back, I would probably do wrinkle red. I thought it was going to look a little too like Honda-esque, but I honestly like wrinkle red, and honestly I don't hate Hondas, I like them. So maybe if I ever have to pull the heads again, I might replace them. Other than that, it's got a flex fuel kit, so it's running full E85. Honestly, I don't think I'm pushing too much power, or at least more so than 91. It's just a lot of it's just for safety and also cost too, especially nowadays with gas being like $6.70, 80 cents now. It's ridiculous.
So how much power do you think it's pushing? Like, just, or you could tell us the numbers so that people who might do this want to know like what it is.
For sure, yeah. So when I dynoed it, it made 398 wheel and 268 pound-feet of torque. Now since then, I've done also a carbon fiber drive shaft and a lightweight flywheel. So I feel like it has to be making at least over 400 wheel now.
I think so.
Pretty consistently. You can definitely feel the difference. So for the suspension, I've got a set of Nitron NTR R1s. These are probably the best coils that I've ever used in my entire life. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're two-way adjustable, and you get a lot. Honestly, like, I had zero issues with the coils so far. They're a little bit stiffer, but I think it's with the dampening setup that I have right now, which I don't know because when it comes to suspension, I'm like, just throw whatever you think is going to work on there. Like, that's fine. Yeah, for the wheels, big shout out to Donut Roids on Instagram, or Kevin. He hooked me up with a set of LMs for both my dad's car and this one. I showed up to his shop and he's like, you know, I didn't expect you to be back here so soon. I'm like, Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. The fronts are 265/35 19s. They rub a little bit, so I might switch over to 275 30s. You can see there's a little bit of scoring marks on the tire itself. But the fronts, I believe, are 19 by 9.5 plus 22, and then the rears are 19 by 10.5 plus like 33 or 37.
Okay.
I do have a 12mm spacer just to push it out a little bit more.
Okay.
Definitely helps out with the fitment. In terms of brakes, I've got a Paragon big brake kit. Big shout out to Kevin over at EAS for suggesting it. Initially, I was thinking about getting some AP Racing calipers, and then I saw the price, and it's about 11 grand for the whole kit.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, you know, there's another supplier that makes pretty good brakes, and it's literally half the price. So you could try that. I'm like, yeah, sure. Really impressed with these brakes. They've held up wonderfully on the track. 3 track days, and I've went through like maybe a millimeter of pad.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, or like maybe a millimeter
really
or 2
good.
millimeters. And I've been pretty hard on them too, so they've held up wonderfully and definitely improved the brakes on this car, which is one of my complaints about it. The stock or the factory calipers are, I believe, a sliding design, and they're all one pistons all around, so they're pretty bad. And
Yeah, they're weak. They're pretty weak.
Yeah, people complain about that for sure. And I would be people, so definitely getting those replaced was a big thing. Front end is an Adro front lip. Honestly, I went with these because I saw the design. I saw it went over the bumper itself. And I thought, man, that's going to be really easy to install. So that's why I did it. You know, just the front part just has 3M tape, and then I typically don't like using self-tappers, but it is self-tapping, so it's okay.
Yeah, and then
the side skirts, I've got these from Kevin as well. I also have the Raider diffuser from Kevin.
Nice.
He hooked me up on Black Friday, so really appreciate it. Install wasn't too bad. And then here's the rear. The rears are running at 295/30/19. I've seen some people run 305s, and they sort of can make it fit, but honestly,
it's like a stretch. Huh?
It's a bit of a stretch, and I feel like with tire sizes especially, I don't like messing with tires. It's annoying because certain manufacturers, like a 295 will be a little, like these ones for instance, the Advans tend to run a little more square. So some people might have fitment issues, but you know, tires like the Michelins, I believe, and Continentals tend to run a little more rounder. Falcons are a little bit like that too, and they have a little bit less sidewalls. So I don't know, man. I just like I hate looking up wheel fitment and tire specs. I know some people really like that, like Kevin, for instance, is an expert on it, but for me, I'm like, I don't care, dude. Just whatever fits in the car, like get it on there. So the rear section, I don't know what style diffuser this is, but I also got it from Kevin. The previous owner had some carbon fiber bits on this car, but they were about like 10 years old. So
they were fading and stuff like
they're
that.
fading and cracking a little bit. So I'm like, all right, I'll replace them.
Okay.
As for the exhaust, so the headers are stock. I've got Mach Chanel dual resonated X pipe, and I've got a Valvetronic axle back. I initially had a kit from Bomiz, but I just could not get that kit to seal properly. And it was causing exhaust leaks at the headers and causing the car to misfire.
Whoa, okay, that was bad.
Yeah, so I initially tried to get it re-welded by a guy, and it still didn't seal through no fault of his own, honestly. I think the exhaust jig that they have set up at their factory just isn't correct, because I'm actually not the only person that's had issues with that.
Oh shoot. Okay.
So right now it's sitting in my house in pieces, and I'm still kind of considering what I want to do with it.
Oh man. Okay.
And then I ended up actually getting an Acura axle back, but it was way too quiet, and I don't know, like this exhaust setup is a little bit obnoxious, but like honestly, it's an E92, like it's kind of designed to be a little obnoxious.
It is. Trust me, I know. These cars should be loud. Maybe the neighbors will hate you, but like getting behind the wheel every time with the exhaust noise, you know, it's part of the experience for this car. So. Sure. Why don't you kind of talk about what's done to it? I can see already one of the things with the seat. So
yeah. So for the seats, again, another hookup from Kevin. one of the other complaints I had about this car is the stock ride height, or the stock seat height,
Yeah.
is pretty high up.
It is. It is.
So these ones, they're not as low. I could have them bolted to the floor, but I definitely lowered it by a couple millimeters, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And they're super comfortable.
They are.
Yeah, I have a set of Bridge Straudia 3s on my BRZ, and I don't know if I can fit in those anymore. Because, I basically got like the regular size, which in Japanese usually means like 2 sizes down.
Oh yeah. No, for sure.
So it's a little more a tight fit, but these ones are super comfortable for dailying. They have a good amount of side bolster as well. Steering wheel, I've got the I believe this is OEM Alcantara. Okay. This cover is not OEM. I think it's from IND. But you know, if you can't tell, I really like Alcantara.
It's everywhere in here. It's everywhere. But it looks good. Yeah, looks really good.
I've got all these stuff. All the stuff is from Basic Performance, I believe. Okay, yeah, he basically just buys like the OEM plastic ones and then wraps it with Alcantara. Okay. But the stitching is quite nice.
No, it looks really good.
Yeah.
No, this is really good.
I'm pretty impressed with it. Yeah. Aftermarket Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Okay, needed.
Yeah, and then I've got the red gauge faces from Vinoxy. Okay. They look a little weird during the day, and it's actually kind of hard to see the needle sometimes because of the red on red. It
kind of camouflages.
Yeah, but during the night it turns into this like super dark red, like burgundy color, and it looks really nice. So
it's like a Fast and Furious.
Yeah, a little bit. Red start stop button. That's the 50 horsepower mod that everybody gets.
For sure. Yeah.
I've got the these are from Redline, I believe. It's a throttle pedal extender. Okay. Pretty easy install. All you have to do is like drill 3 holes and that's it. And then for here, I've got well, this one is, I believe, the F-Series chassis shifter. Okay. Made a huge difference by itself, and then I've got a short shifter kit as well, so you can.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
It didn't have any slop in it. Like I felt it. I was moving. I was like, oh, okay, it's stirred.
Yeah, I will say I was shocked. So I learned how to drive manual on my dad's F32. Okay. And people always said that BMW shifters are kind of gummy and long and whatnot. But that car wasn't that bad. Yeah. I don't know if you ever put a short shifter kit in that car or if it just came like that from the factory. But I got into the E92 and I had the short shifter when I first bought it, and I was like, holy crap, this is like the worst shifter I've used. It's like a super long shifter, super long throws, very vague. I misshifted a couple times because it's just like super like weird.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay. So this one's from Turner Motorsports. I really like it. It's kind of lower into the
yeah, it sits lower.
Yeah, I could raise it up, but I actually prefer it to be lower here. I don't know, it just makes it feel a lot better to me. Handbrake is also Alcantara. Handbrake cover is also Alcantara.
It's a little theme going on here.
Yeah, but other than that, it's pretty bone stock, just some interior stuff. I haven't really done anything. Kind of considering maybe getting a vent gauge here for oil temps.
Okay. Do these work?
These do work. You can press them.
Yeah, see, this is a notorious thing with these. Owners of this car know that these sometimes get stuck or like don't work. Oh, hold on. Okay, we're good.
There you go.
Yeah, I was like getting scared. I was like jinxing it or what? But yeah, they work. Interior is really clean. So why don't we take a moment really quick to talk about what your future plans may be with this car?
Yeah, so for future plans, honestly, it's all just going to be suspension related. Okay. So I kind of made the mistake with my Subaru where I bought all the suspension parts first and then put it on the car. But most people, especially when you're driving on the track, recommend you to drive a car stock, get really good with it, and then try to figure out what it needs. If it's understeering or if it's oversteering, like addressing that with aftermarket like camber or control arms, aftermarket coils, things like that. So right now it's just sitting on coils and the front sway bar as well. Okay. That one came from the first owner, and I think it's about 30 millimeters, so it's a pretty thick one.
That's
I could take it off and like whack somebody with it.
Yeah, so, that's pretty thick, man.
Yeah. But the rears are stock, and then all the control arms and things like that are stock. So definitely for the future, once I get better at driving this car, considering throwing some of that in so I can get some extra caster or camber adjustment. Okay.
Good plan.
Yeah, in terms of extra power in this car, I don't know. I'm gonna have 3 cars that are all tuned at that point, and then throwing a supercharger kit on this car. Like, the thing is, it's a really high-strung motor from factory. Supercharging this car, in my opinion, is like a little sketchy. It's a 15-year-old motor.
It is.
Yeah, it's a 15-year-old motor. I have had like spark plugs, injectors, valve cover gaskets done because, of course, they were leaking. But you know, when you push boost into a very high strung motor, it's pretty high compression too. I think it's close to 12 to 1, 12.5 to 1.
It is.
So it's, you know, even if you're pushing like 5 pounds of boost, like you're gonna find out if there's some weak points in the motor very quickly. So
why don't you talk to them about the cost of a motor for this car if they don't know?
Yeah, so motors for this car, like they, you know, I've seen blown up ones with like holes in them going for $5,000.
Oh my god.
The ones that actually work, like they're like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000
for sure. Yeah,
for like a good motor. So you know, that's like half of the amount that I paid for this car.
Exactly.
So if this motor blows up, it's like adios. So yeah, that's also another consideration too. They're very expensive.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game we play with these cars. If you boost it, just be prepared, possibly. So
for sure.
15,000 for the motor.
Yeah, no, it's super expensive.
God, that shit's loud. That shit's loud. All right, so taking that exhaust clip, it literally got a ringing in my ear, but it was worth it. It sounds hella good. No, it's worth it. I forgot how loud these cars are, but I'm really excited to get into this platform again, and it sounds so good.
It's all AI generated, by the way.
Yes, all AI generated. We're driving back. Can you give any advice to anyone who wants to get into this platform?
Yeah, be prepared to pay the BMW tax. You know, the whole European cars are expensive thing. I didn't really understand it up until I bought this car. Even simple things like oil change kits are like around 130, 150 bucks.
Oh, he's right.
Yeah, because these filters, like it takes 9.6 quarts or liters of oil.
And don't get us started with the oil type.
Yeah.
10W60 is hard to just get off the shelf.
Yeah,
like, it really is.
It's I remember I had an issue where I was running a little bit low, so I'm like, I'll run to O'Reilly's, like I'll get it, and I had to go to like 4 different ones, and there was one bottle this guy had like sitting in the back just randomly, and I'm like, this is awesome.
10W60 is not easy to come by.
So you know, be prepared to have a lot of oil, a lot of spare oil. Be prepared to spend a lot of money just on like basic things. Like I remember I broke this little tab right here. It was old. I'm like, okay, you know, I'll go buy a replacement. You have to buy the entire piece, and it's $260 for freaking plastic. Yeah. So,
and it's like one of the smallest pieces on the dash too.
Yeah, and it wasn't hard to replace or anything. It was just, it cost a lot of money because it's BMW. Yeah. So yeah, no, these cars are super expensive. So just be prepared to financially like have some money set aside to make sure that you can afford something like this, because you know, I see a lot of kids, especially with G80s, they get into debt with these cars. They don't expect like the price of maintenance. Like it is very expensive.
It is. It really is, man. Yeah. Rod bearings especially. Throttle actuators.
Throttle actuators. Valve cover gaskets. Yeah. I remember I got my rod bearings done at EAS. It was a couple grand.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's an expensive car to maintain, and just make sure that you have enough money. And like, I know it's kind of rich coming from me, where I have 3 different cars that are kind of fun, but you know, like try not to get into debt because of fun cars. Like make sure you have enough to do basic things like get a house or pay off your bills before you start getting into these things.
For sure.
You know, a lot of people on the internet like to kind of clout chase, you know, and whatnot. You look at their car payments like $1,500 a month. You're like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah. I feel that. Okay. Well, it was a fun time catching up with the bro. I've made videos with his dad's G87 M2, and now we're kind of doing his E92 M3. So it's nice to kind of do the full 360. Who knows? Maybe with his maybe we'll get an update on the G87 and also possibly on his BRZ. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. welcome back to the channel. So I know I've been gone. Fuck, yo, Future, chill.